Hello everyone, welcome back to Brook Nation. Let's go for a drive series. It's a beautiful, cool Saturday, and we're going to have a little discussion about elderly people, but in this case more so elderly parents. Now, the era that they grew up, or should I say the era, we're talking about the 80s here, right? When my parents were in their 30s, when the economy was much better, when money went a lot further. See, they still think that, they're like, oh, well, you're working so you have money. It's like, just because you have a job, it doesn't mean that, like, right now, I'm the working poor, right? Or I'm in the working, still the lower class. Work a full-time job, still can't afford a house, right? You have to rent. Can't afford to get a mortgage. They won't give you one. Don't make enough money. Back in the 80s, you have a job? Oh, you're full-time? Here's a mortgage. A house only cost $100,000 back in the 80s. Maybe $200,000 if you want a really big house. $400,000. Now, a house is costing you minimum, small little shack, $500,000. Regular size house, fully detached, over $1 million. Right? Money's not the same as what it used to be. Right? But they don't understand in their brain, even though they've seen the inflation, but the difference is they already have their house, right? They're retired, they've had a career, they don't work anymore, right? They're getting their pension. Some of them are still working, but the fact is they already had the house, they've had a family, they've had their kids, right? They went through all the different periods that the country was going through. But they already had their establishments. They already have the house. They already have, businesses or whatever it is. But nowadays, you work full-time. You're making minimum wage. You ain't affording anything, right? Before they could buy, like everything now you're not paying off a car in 3 years. You're either leasing a car, or the average people now, 5 to 6 years you're paying off the vehicle, right? It's not like before, a couple years and the car's paid off, right? They pay it off in 2 years, their house is $100,000, they're making 50, 60 plus thousand a year. Great money. Now you're making 50, 60,000 a year and you're just getting by, right? Because if you're going to afford a house, it's going to be small, or it's going to be in a further out city. You're not in the main city. You're going to be in a newly developing city, or a old, not necessarily well-received city. We'll put it that way. Right? Because the older cities, houses are a little bit cheaper, because they're old, they're run down. They've been there, a few hundred years. So the houses are going to cost less. Older cities, you might get more yard. Nowadays, you're lucky if you have a front yard or a backyard. Things have changed, but elderly people, they don't get it. They don't understand that it's not like how they had it. Some of them do. Right? But the lifestyle that they had, they just assume their children or the youth, the younger people should have too. And it's like, well, if you're not making $100K a year, you're not having that life. Period. Right? But they don't, it doesn't compute. It doesn't compute in their head, right? They think that the money is the same value as it was back in the 80s. And that's not the case. Right? If you're making 20 bucks an hour back in the 80s, whoo! You were making killing. Because you got to remember, minimum wage was like $7. Now minimum wage is $14. Right? Think about that. Minimum is $14. So just think of how expensive everything's going to be. Right? Everything gets inflated. Everything goes up. You pay the entry level $14 an hour. Everything's going to go up in price. Everything's going to inflate. Right? So it sounds like it's good money, but it's not. Right? Like I said, the simplest thing. Right? Houses were $100,000. Now, the same exact house, you're looking at 600 minimum 600,000 plus. Right? That's a huge amount of money. Right? That the pay doesn't, like, they increase the price of everything by 100%. They increase your pay by 2%. That doesn't compute. But anywho, right? Elderly parents, you know, they have their pension, they get their money from the government, they might have saved money, put money aside. Some of them still might be working, so they've been working for, you know, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So they have money, right? But the children, the people growing up, the people trying to establish themselves, make a life for themselves, you're making 14 bucks, 15 bucks, 16 bucks, 17 bucks an hour, right? You're not affording anything fancy. You're just getting through. You're not getting a house, because to get a mortgage nowadays, you've either had to have had a mortgage, or you have to have a substantial amount of money to put down on the house before the bank's going to even look in your direction. And most of the time, even if you do, they want a cosigner, right? So if your parents aren't co-signing for you, or you're not married or have a dual income, good luck finding a house. All right? But back in the day, oh, you had $20,000? Here's a mortgage, here's a house, no problem. Right? You're working full time, you got only $5,000 to put down on the house, there you go, no problem. Right? Long since those days are over. I need to get around this truck. I don't like how he keeps wiggling in my direction. Right? Well, yeah, I was just chatting with my dad, and it's like, they don't get it. He gets it semi, because now he's, you know, his body's breaking down. You know, he worked for himself, didn't put enough money away for his retirement, so now he's struggling. Right? He's just getting the bare minimum from the government, so he gets it. But you know, that's you know, however you live your life is how your life is going to be lived. Right? And what I mean is, if you're young and you don't put any money towards your future, when you get old, you're going to have nothing. And there's no one to blame but yourself. Right? But it's a little hard to try to save for yourself, for your own future, when, you know, like, what's the, most people, they want to meet a significant other, get married, have kids, buy a house, live with your significant other, with your children, and have that, you know, your family, right? Not easy to do when getting the house part is the most difficult, right? Making a baby is, how much, it's making a baby's free. Once you have the baby, that's when you go broke. Look at this guy, right? Making the baby's free. You have the baby, and, well, that's a whole nother topic, right? I don't have any kids, but my friends do. And once again, daycare in the 80s, you know, maybe $100, maybe $100 a week. Now you're looking at $100 a day per kid, right? You're looking at like $1,000 a week, depending on where you're taking them and stuff. $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, right? Plus sometimes more to have somebody watch your kid. You got to think, some people, they're making in a paycheck $1,000 for 2 weeks. That's minimum wage. Minimum wage is a little bit under that, actually. You're making like 800 and something. So you think about that. You're working for 2 weeks. You're bringing home 800 and change. It costs you $1,000 a week just for your kid to be watched. And you have to have someone watch your kid, otherwise how are you going to go to work? See what I mean? But back in the 80s, right, it costs you, you're bringing home $800. It costs you $100 for the whole week for your kid to be watched, right? No problem. But that is the economy and the inflation and how things change. Nothing. The only thing you can do is to get a second job, right? Have a significant other, so you have a dual income household, right? Or rent. You and your friends all chip in together and pay a mortgage, so that you can split the mortgage 2, 3, 4 ways, right? So you can get a house and everybody can live in the one house together, and everyone just pays part of that mortgage so everybody can live, you know, a good life, right? That's the way to do it. You get your friends, you all put in together, and boom, you get a house. The question is, whose name is the house under, right? And it becomes trust, and then people fight, and that's, you know, that's what money creates wars, right? Greed and money. But anyway, that's off topic. But yeah, the whole point was elderly parents or older people, right? From the way they had it when they were in their 30s to the way we have it now, completely different worlds, right? Cars used to cost $8,000. Now, average, right? $15,000 for basic. I'm talking basic, right? Basic. You're looking at $15,000, $16,000 for the basic entry-level version that nobody really wants, right? Back in the day, you get a fully loaded for what it was back then, $8,000, $9,000. It's like, what the heck, man? I get it. There's more technology now. It's got computers, blah, blah, blah. But, whoa. Imagine that. Buy a brand new car for $8,000 in 2020. That would be something. With like a V6 engine, right? You know, give me my tape deck. Like one of these. GLC 43. All right? Easily looking at, what, $70K to start? Right? $70,000 to start. That's probably, I don't know what about the options they have, but easily $70,000. And it's not even a 63. All right. But anywho, I think I'm gonna leave that discussion at that. All I can say is just, you know, work hard, grind Grind any way you can legally. Keyword in that sentence. Legally. Right? Getting into anything that is shady or anything that is not legal, it's not worth it. Because in the end of the day, yeah, for the first bit, the first while, you might be rolling in the dough, you might be doing well. But as soon as the shit hits the fan, there's a huge mess. And the only person that's gonna live it is you. Right? And then you gotta clean that up with your bare hands. Because there's no toilet paper. And nobody wants that. Remember, work hard and grind legally. Right? Get a second job. YouTube is not really it anymore. You'd have to get extremely lucky or already have some money to try to make money doing YouTube. It's not what it was. They've come up with way too many rules, way too many stipulations and guidelines, especially now where they added in the whole child. If you've ever uploaded a video, you have to let them know if the video is made for kids or not. And if it's made for kids, you're not getting any money. I'm like, that makes no sense. Kids shows make money, but if you're making it for YouTube and it's for kids, you're automatically making no money. Right? That ain't fair. Right? That's not right. Like, I upload pop videos and stuff, right? Pops are a toy, so automatically that's deemed for a child. So you're not making any money off of that. So what's the point of making the video then? Right? Demonetized. Right? Takes creators time and effort to make videos, to make content. They take their time, it takes hours, right? You post it, and then at their whim they can tell you, well, you're not getting paid. It's the established people who are established are going to make money, right? They already have a fan base. They already have, their foothold. They're going to make money. Anybody starting up, incredibly difficult, right? And it's unfortunate because it would be an extremely fun second job. And that's the thing, finding a second job that you can do outside of your main job, right? That's not going to literally kill you with working too much. It's hard to do. Legally, right? Stress this word again. Legally. Well, we'll have to do a little brainstorming. We'll figure something out. For now, it's a hobby. It's more of a therapy, I guess you can say. Get it, saying it out loud, get it off your chest. Speak to your people. Right? That's what it's for. It's for my sanity. It's definitely not for my wallet, because I'm not making a penny. But yeah. Elderly people, you love them, you take care of them. They stress you out sometimes. They might frustrate you. But what can you do, right? They're your parents or your grandparents or your, their family. What can you do? Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a great day.